Alright everybody, welcome to Talking Taker, episode number 44 of our encyclopedic exploration, digging up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time. My name is Alex Dorio, I am one of your hosts, one of the creatures of the night, and I am joined, as always, by my tag team partner, my wrestling buddy, Travis White, my fellow creature of the night. And I mean, talk about creatures of the night, it is late for us recording this, but that's all right, because just like Shawn Michaels, we can stay up all night.
Hi-yo! Yeah, man, one of your leeches of the night here. Yeah, it is almost midnight as we record this, and yeah, I'm out in the dark. So it is. I'm outside in a car, so audio quality should be better this week, but it is what it is, guys. So we're doing our best to get you these episodes on Fridays, like we promised. Because yeah, we love it. And we love your support, and we know you guys look forward to these too. So yeah,
you know, you're just getting in the spirit of the Undertaker being out there in the night, in the darkness.
Brothers of the night, you and I are.
Well, we're going to be talking about the Brothers of the Night, of course, as the Undertaker Cain saga continues to fire up and flame up here as we get on the road to another big match, kicking off a new year as we jump into 1998 today with the main event of Royal Rumble 1998, The Undertaker against Shawn Michaels in a casket match for the WWF Championship, a match that has huge implications not only on the storylines of the WWF, but really on the future of the WWF and on the career of Shawn Michaels, which we'll talk about. So, yeah, we're going to jump into it. We appreciate everybody out there listening and tuning in, as always, as we kick off a new year. Hopefully you guys listened to the last episode. I just want to say, you know, don't sleep on our last episode. Don't sleep on that D-Generation X episode. I know it was Undertaker versus Jeff Jarrett. You know, it was obviously the downloads for that were a little bit less than the Hell in the Cell match. You know, the bigger matches in the Undertaker's career tend to get more downloads. But man, don't sleep on that episode or the some of the other more not as famous
obscure ones,
Undertaker. Yeah, the more obscure ones. There's some great stuff that we had fun talking about last week's episode. You know, that's kind of what we're trying to do here. We're covering The Undertaker in depth, of course, but we're also picking out some of the obscurities, some of the stuff you might have missed or might have forgotten about from this era, from these episodes of Raw, and how it all plays into the bigger picture. We're using The Undertaker as a gateway into telling the history of professional wrestling through the WWF and the WWE, and we're branching off into some fun territories here. So we appreciate you joining in. We love if you're tuning in and just picking and choosing, but man, don't miss out. Go back and dig in and dig up some of these other episodes too. Don't forget about those. Don't sleep on those.
No, exactly. Those are some of the most fun ones. I remember specifically the Farouk episodes, one of my favorite ones we've done. Still, for some reason, Undertaker versus Farouk. And last week was really fun too. Yeah, the build-up might not be as exciting, but the road there is really fun. So, but speaking of really fun, this build-up is fun. This match is fun. Again, these two have chemistry. These two being Shawn and Undertaker have the most ridiculous chemistry we've seen up to this point. I mean, this is only their, third match, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and from the get-go, from match one, they had chemistry. We mentioned that. And then Hell in a Cell was awesome. And here we are again. And it's just, these dudes just click, man. They just click.
This is episode 44, and these might be the three best matches that we've covered so far. You know, they're right up there with the matches with Mankind. You know, those matches were excellent, but I think these take it to another level. And I put that in my notes, too, during the match. Just, man, these guys had great chemistry and were able to build a great rivalry in just a really short amount of time. It's like an all-timer rivalry right here, right off the bat. And, they had never faced each other until September, just a few months before this. It's crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. So, picking up from last week's, Talking Taker episode after D-Generation X, we head into the next night on Raw, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, we can skip right over it. Undertaker and Cain don't play a role in that episode of Raw, so we're going to jump over, because we're talking Taker, to episode 238 on the WWE Network of Monday Night Raw from December 15th, 1997. And you know, speaking of 15, Undertaker kicks off the show with about a 15-year-old Michael Cole in the ring interviewing him, man. It is. It's crazy to think he's been in the WWE for over 20 years, but you can tell looking at him on these early episodes. He weighs about 92 pounds.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's swallowed himself at this, like, nowadays. He looks like he's eating this version of Michael Cole. Although, I will say, he looks better now. He's on a better diet, but back at WrestleMania 27, you and I were there, he was horrifying looking.
A little husky, yeah.
But, yeah, man, he looks like he's 15 years old, and Undertaker just absolutely dwarfs him in the ring here. Just Slim Michael, man. He's slim.
And guess what? Michael Cole gets to announce.
Oh, what is that?
That The Undertaker is the new #1 contender for the WWF Championship. And
so we had a month off, right, of the just random announcements.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if Ken Shamrock just got randomly announced for that.
Oh, yeah, we didn't cover that, so he may have.
I just thinking how. Like, Undertaker has lost his last 3 pay-per-view matches. At least, I think
he hasn't won. He hasn't won since Canadian Stampede in July. That was his last win,
and he's the #1 contender.
Exactly.
I get that he's taken Shawn Michaels to the limit every time he's faced him, and you know he should have won at Bad Blood. He should have won that Hell in a Cell match, but
right.
He's kind of Shawn Michaels is kind of getting screwed over here, man. I know he screwed Bret Hart over, but he's kind of getting screwed over here, especially because he's having to face the Undertaker in a casket match.
Right, which Michael Cole says it's almost like he's supposed to scare Undertaker with it. He's like, it's going to be a casket match. Like, that's his specialty,
exactly.
Dude. Like, he's not scared. The opponent is supposed to be scared. And I got this feeling, too, like, watching this and watching the build-up, like, casket match, the aura around it doesn't mean as much as it used to. You know, like when we were covering the stuff back in 91, 92, 93, you know, that was, you know, he was more of the, you know, the graveyard type guy. You know, he's building his own caskets, and it was kind of part of his character. And now it's still part of his character, but not so much as we keep talking about. He's more human now. So it kind of, honestly, for me, came out of like left field, you know, and kayfabe wise, it's kind of like, okay, well, because it's kind of bringing back that more, you know, mystique aura of him, which is kind of, I thought it was kind of weird, but it works as we get to the match. It's great.
I agree 100%. The match itself ends up being great, but yeah, you're right. After just this intense realism and next level violence of Hell in a Cell, we're gonna go backwards to the cartooniness of the casket match.
Yeah,
which you and I both love, and
sure.
It definitely has its place, and it is part of the mystique of the Undertaker, but it does feel kind of out of place. And this whole going back to the Undertaker Shawn Michaels thing, it ends up working, but I think it feels kind of tacked on, because I really think they really should have gone with Owen Hart versus Shawn Michaels here. That would have made more sense. Instead, Owen Hart ends up facing Triple H to get his revenge on DX for the screw job. But man, why not? Right. Why not give Owen Hart a month in the spotlight? He's so hot right now off of he's doing this gimmick where he's basically being Stone Cold Light, being a version of Stone Cold, but it makes so much sense, and it's just weird to me that they don't try to capitalize on all that screw job stuff by giving Owen Hart at least 1 month a chance to main event a pay-per-view. They easily could have done that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They could have done that at Royal Rumble, and then have Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at No Way Out in Texas.
Sure.
Or whatever. But again, well, there's a reason we get to skip a month. But yeah, I agree, man. Owen Hart seemed like a surefire #1 contender, but maybe they just didn't want to do business together. Who knows? You know, after the real life screwing of Bret Hart. So
yeah, it could have been that too. Well, we get some little playing a little fast and loose with the facts here in this program too. Talk about that.
Well, Undertaker says he's wrestled Shawn twice, and nothing has been settled but one issue. I can beat Shawn Michaels at will, which apparently not. You haven't beat him yet.
Hasn't beat him yet. Yeah.
And he talks right into the camera, and he gets really intense on this one. He says, you know, my history of casket matches is legendary. I've only lost once, and it took 10 top talent to put him away. So right there, you've lost more than once, and it did not take 10 top talent. Those were jabronis. Those were J-Brones that came out and buried him at, what was that, SummerSlam 94?
Oh, no, Royal Rumble.
No, Royal Rumble 94.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But yeah, dude, he skipped over another one that he lost.
Goldust, exactly. That was what international incident? Was it that one? No, it was Beware of Dog.
Beware.
Because they had to redo it
in a row. Yeah.
Exactly, though. Man. But, I mean, I guess a lot of people forget about that match and that pay-per-view, and apparently The Undertaker does, and JR does as well. JR mentions it during the Royal Rumble match itself. They can't get their facts straight here, and I guess that match doesn't count.
Yeah. Well, and fun fact for you, I don't have this on my notes, but I just watched the photo shoot on the network with Goldust last night, and he talks about that match with Undertaker in it, which, again, Goldust hasn't forgotten in 2018. Of course, he did have a little help from a friend named Mankind.
Yeah.
So it wasn't 10 top talent, but still,
one.
Undertaker's lost twice that we know of in casket matches on camera, you know.
So his casket match record is really only like 3-2.
Right.
It's really not that great.
Right, exactly. But it doesn't make for a good story that way. It makes for a better story the way he tells it. So, anyway. But,
and then apparently The Undertaker doesn't like to use profanity either.
Right.
He says...
go ahead.
He says... He's talking to Shawn Michaels and says,
"You better give your soul to the Lord, because the rest of your scrawny will belong to me."
And he actually pauses instead of saying the word there, which I don't think I've ever seen in a promo before. It was strange.
Dude, I don't think so, but you know what? To me, it worked better, because when he paused, just the anticipation of what, cuss words are going to come out of his mouth, the crowd popped. It is almost like by not saying it, he got the message more over than by saying. Because anyone can cuss. And that was Jeff Jarrett's point when he returned was, Austin comes out and cusses and the crowd pops. Great. Big whoop. Like, he could have said a cuss word here, Undertaker, but he didn't. And because he waited, it gave more subtlety. And honestly, the crowd popped for it, which I wouldn't have thought about that, but it was really cool.
It was.
He does well with everything he's given. Even a stupid line like that, he's great. So... I don't know. What happens once he says that, the organ music and the red lights come on. So we got Cain's music here. And again, this is in December, so it's about Christmas time. But Cain and Paul Bearer come out, and they're staring a hole through each other, Cain and Undertaker, that is. And Paul Bearer gives a great promo here with some scathing words. So why don't you go ahead and take it away?
He is over the top here, man, with his well introduction saying...
Undertaker, is your parents, the parents that you murdered. That's terrible. And here in front of you is your brother, the brother that you sat under the Christmas tree with. Yes, and open presents and watch the train go round. Remember, he suffered for 20 years, and it's all your fault. Bear is vermin.
But he's going to give The Undertaker one more chance to join up with Cain and to be a man for all of his leeches of the night. And you can't say Paul Bearer is not a fair guy. He's continually giving Undertaker chance after chance. He did all summer long, giving him the chance to reconcile with him before he revealed the secret of Cain. Now he's giving him another chance to join up with them or to fight against him. Paul Bearer, for all his problems, is a pretty fair guy.
He's absolutely fair. Yes, he was. And again, like I mentioned last week with the Batman and Joker type relationship here, you look at the Dark Knight, there's several instances Joker keeps pushing Batman to kill him or to kill somebody, and he never does. And finally he has to, take out Harvey Dent at the end there and blames himself instead of Joker. So, same kind of thing here, continuing on. Paul Bearer's got his Batman boots on, or his Joker boots, I guess. So,
Paul Bearer may be fair, but Cain is ready to fight. He slaps the Undertaker and goes to slap him a second time, and Taker grabs his fist, stops him. But instead of fighting, he just shakes his head and walks away, walks up the aisle. And then I love this. Cain hits the pyro, and then Taker kind of turns around and does that look back down the aisle at him, and he just says more in a look than a lot of guys can say in an entire promo. Man, that's why we're doing this podcast about him, because he's one of the best.
He does, and I remember just us saying that even from episode 1, 2, and 3, just as far as his mannerisms, just the way he carried himself, and he played the facials and stuff as far as this dead man character. He has it here still 7 years later, and it's just, you're right. He just kind of looks at Cain like disappointed, and just, he didn't need to say a word. So he said more by not cussing and by just staring at his brother here than he would have by giving another 10-minute promo. So it's just good stuff, man. He's so on top of things and on top of his character.
It's a great segment. I go out of my way to watch this one. It's the opening of the December 15th, 97 Raw. It's great top to bottom and gives a great gist of the whole feud that we're going to see throughout the build-up here. And after you watch that, definitely go watch the commercial on this episode of Raw for WWF The Music Volume 2 CD, which I think I have the CD and the cassette for this one at one
you had
point
the
or
CD.
another.
Yeah.
And I learned something. I think we both learned something from this commercial, which I didn't realize, and that's that apparently The Undertaker plays the cymbals in his own entrance music. I had no idea.
Yeah, according to this video, he does, and Mankind plays drums? He plays something.
He plays
piano.
The piano.
He plays piano. Steve Austin plays something in his. Yeah,
Vader
it's just
plays
crazy.
The drums.
Vader plays drums for it. Yeah, it's so hokey
commercial.
and funny, but I love it, man. It was great.
You've also got the the Attitude commercials, which are so serious, and everyone remembers those, and then you got this goofiness too.
Oh yeah. Again, they're still in between, or haven't crossed over to the Attitude technically yet. So, actually, this is the same episode where Vince McMahon he just takes a stick of dynamite kayfabe and just blows it up. This is the Cure for the Common Show announcement with all that. It's the infamous speech, I guess. He just blows up kayfabe and introduces a little bit of attitude here and gives his mission statement for the company.
We in the WWF think that you, the audience, are quite frankly tired of having your intelligence insulted. We also think that you're tired of the same old simplistic theory of good guys versus bad guys.
Classic. We all of us wrestling fans have known and seen this a million times.
Of course, it's this speech where Vince McMahon talks about there's no more good guys, there's no more bad guys. Basically saying wrestling's fake and we're entertainment and we're going to provide entertainment. And, not to dwell too much on it, but I do think The Undertaker is a huge representation of this evolution because, like we said before, this storyline with Cain is kind of one of really the first examples of this new era, of this new, more soap opera era where we're, it's weird that this is a wrestling feud. Paul Bearer gave that promo all those months ago where he talked for 20 minutes about the funeral home burning down and all this stuff, and we were both like, this is on a wrestling show.
Right.
What is even happening? And it's the perfect distillation of this, and it's going to continue to be as The Undertaker goes into that Ministry of Darkness character and starts sacrificing people and becomes larger than life and larger than wrestling. Not always in good ways, but it's the perfect example of what Vince McMahon is trying to do here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this kayfabe died this night in the World Wrestling Federation. So, not that it hadn't been dying a slow death anyway, especially with all of Shawn Michaels' promos the last 2 months. But anyway, man, this was the night kayfabe officially died in WWF, and it's fine though. They're going to give us what does he say? He says, there's no more good guys and bad guys. Oh, we don't want to insult your intelligence anymore. Right. So, yeah. Although I might take him to task on that a little bit later.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the next week and get up through some of these Raws as we head into the Christmas episode of Raw, December 22nd, 1997, episode 239. They're in that same arena, tiny little arena where Undertaker fought Quang back on our
nice.
He Buries Them Alive episode.
Classic.
It's in Lowell, Massachusetts, I think, something like that.
Dude,
it's like 2,000
that place
people
comes
there.
up so much, yeah.
It's so funny. But there's a historic matchup on this episode.
Are you talking about The Rock versus Undertaker here?
The Rock versus The Undertaker.
Yeah. It's great, man. Like, it was fun to watch. I mean, there's
It
lots of
was.
outside interference. Taker has to deal with the nation the entire time. I don't know. We don't need to necessarily break down the whole match or anything, but
No, but
it's
it's
cool to
solid.
see these guys go back and this is, from what I can recall, their first meeting. I don't remember him meeting Rocky Maivia in a one-on-one match.
I
So
don't either. And The Rock's still very young and early in
yeah,
his heel career, but Undertaker gives him a lot, gives him a long
yeah,
match,
he
and
does.
it's a pretty good TV match.
You could tell that Taker respected him because of how much he gave him. We always talk about him selling, and he doesn't have to sell for everybody, but he does here, and it's good, man. I really enjoyed this match. I think this match ends when he gets a choke slam to The Rock and a tombstone, and he's about to put Rocky away, and Cain comes out.
Yes, the
Um,
Christmas creature himself, Cain, comes out on December 22nd, if you will, to
yeah,
interfere along with Paul Bearer, who they continue to berate and belittle the Undertaker, and Paul Bearer's just laying it in on him, telling him,
viciousness.
yes, can't believe I stood by your side. You're nothing. And what's so sad is your poor parents are celebrating this holiday season with the maggots and the worms.
Goo! I couldn't believe he said that. I was like, oh my goodness. He's just laying it in there. So,
Well, that's what gets Taker to go off, and he tries to attack Paul Bearer, but Cain goes after the Undertaker. Taker is finally snapping here. He wraps the goozle around Cain, but he hesitates, and Cain ends up beating down the Undertaker, and it's one of the longest beatdowns we've seen on the Undertaker so far.
yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to mention too, just when Taker finally snaps and wraps his throat or his arm around or his hand around Kane's throat. Excuse me. The place just erupts, man. Like the Lowell, Massachusetts, they just erupt because they're just excited to see Taker finally put his hands on him. He's going to get some revenge here. But yeah, you said he hesitates and he waits a minute, and because he doesn't want to fight him. It's like what we've been saying this whole time. And so yeah, there's a huge, tremendous beatdown, and of course JR's like, this is the worst beatdown we've ever seen, which he's also
Always.
said about.
Every
He's also
time.
said about Kevin Nash. He's also said about Bret Hart.
Every
Said
time.
about Mankind for like 7 months. So yeah, but it really is one of the more long ones. It's not brutal or anything. It's just long, and he does just beat him up. So yeah, I think Jarrett says no one's ever manhandled the Undertaker like this. Yeah, and then Paul Bearer has a great line here.
He says 1998 will be the year of Cain, which, I mean, it's hard to argue that.
Yeah,
We're going to cover 4 Cain matches on next throughout the next few months, or throughout the next few weeks of this podcast, and he's going to be a vital part.
Yeah, he's going to win the title for one night.
Yeah, exactly.
in a couple months. So
His
yeah,
one and only WWF Championship reign.
yeah. And doesn't matter if it's one night or not, he still had it. So that's all that matters in the record books. And then Paul Bearer goes, 1998 will be the year of Cain. Season's beatings, dead man. I love that little comment he has.
He is off the charts,
but,
man. I know we say that every week, but it's true.
He's so off the rails here, man. I love it though. Can we talk about the main event of this show though?
Sure.
I know it doesn't pertain to Talking Taker, but again, I'm a WCW apologist. I believe you are as well. This is the main event. With those of you listening, know that Triple H and Shawn had to fight for the European Championship because again, Shawn has this quote unquote coveted title he loves, and Triple H has to fight him for it. And to me, this is the original finger poke of doom that WCW gets crapped on for. Like, they make it just a complete joke, and everyone's always like, WCW killed it that night, and with Hogan and Nash, and but again, like you mentioned last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, that WWF or WWE kind of retells history now how they want to because they won, So, but I think this is the finger poke of doom is original. Like, this is an absolute travesty of kayfabe and stuff. Like, Jim Cornette was probably rolling over backstage watching this.
I think so. I mean, I think so to an extent.
It's great. Like, it's great storyline. I love it. I have no problem with it. My qualm comes from when everybody craps on WCW about it, and it was basically doing the same exact thing. In my opinion, it was doing the same thing.
Yeah. So. My only thing is that it's it's the European title versus the World Heavyweight title, and it's also
Sure.
It almost. I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. Yeah, and it buries the European title. Like, the European title wasn't anything big, but it was never going to be anything big after that happened too. So yeah,
I guess his fate was sealed that night.
it definitely, but
yeah,
I think to do it in the world title, especially like the night or 2 weeks after they destroyed Goldberg's streak, too. I think it was the confluence of all of those different things, which is why the WCW one goes downhill more. But you're right. If WCW things were reversed and WCW had won the war, then maybe we'd look back on that incident with the same disdain and laughter that we look at the WCW one. I think there's some truth to that.
And don't get me wrong, I love this angle. I love it. It's great. I mean, it's good. I'm down with the Finger Poke of Doom too. It's all fine with me. I understand. I don't like the way that it gets pooped on.
I get it.
Yes,
that's fair.
So, but anyway, moving on.
We'll talk about DX some more because we're actually we're gonna finally start to build to Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. Yeah, it's really that's gonna be the story here. Is Undertaker and Cain is gonna have an effect on everything the Undertaker does throughout the next year. Even as Undertaker goes into a feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin and with Mankind again, Cain is going to play a part in it. So, we joked last week with our episode of Raising Cain, but, strap in, folks. The Big Red Machine is going to be a huge part of this podcast going forward, at least for the next few weeks. And we won't always cover everything that Cain is doing, but, for as long as he's going hand in hand with the Undertaker, we kind of have to.
Yeah, you have to. It's like when we covered Mankind in '96. He was always in the background lurking there, no matter, we covered a lot of Mankind, even on those Goldust episodes and stuff. So, same thing here, yeah. But yeah, we're finally going to get a little bit of build up to the main event of the Royal Rumble here for the, World Wrestling Federation title. We got Triple H and China coming out. This is episode 240, or Raw 240 on December 29th. So, Triple H and China come out to the ring, and they say that, Triple H can't defend his title tonight. It's covered a European title because he tweaked his knee. And he gives a promo here, and he's kind of, coming out of his shell a little bit. And he says, dead man, scary man, HBK is home with 102 fever, and he's shaking and sweating. And dead man will have to wait until Royal Rumble to rest in pieces. So, that, something else happens.
I mean, well, before I get to that, I just want to say, obviously Triple H gets all sorts of crap from people online, and some of it justifiable, sure, into the later stages and later in the 2000s and all that. But God, dude, just watching this, he's so great in this role as the number 2 guy in DX. It's just so funny. He is coming into his own, and he's just oozing with just this heel charisma and just this. Oh, you just want to punch him in the face. He's so obnoxious, but it's awesome. You see those shades of greatness right there, even in young Triple H. Why all these guys in the clique wanted him to be a part of it, and why they saw so much in him. It's really coming into play here as he's starting to own that personality. It's fun to go back and watch these early Triple H moments.
Oh, yeah. I remember saying, a lot of episodes ago when we first saw him as the Connecticut Blue Blood, you could tell he's a Ric Flair fan, just the way he wrestles and carries himself. And here you could tell he's a Click brother because he's just like
so
Kevin Nash. He's just like Scott Hall. He's like X-Pac. They're all they got this, whatever it is, this it factor about them that oozes off the screen, man. And he's got it here. And yeah, that promo, he just had it. And the way he carries himself is great. So.
Well, like you said, they're acting like Shawn Michaels isn't there, and then the Undertaker music hits, the Druids come out with a casket, roll it down to the ring, and commentary is just going over the top here, saying, well, can't be or they're saying that the Undertaker is for sure in that casket. He's going to attack Triple H, and of course, Shawn Michaels, who has a fever and isn't going to be there, he pops out of the casket. The casket has DX's graffiti sprayed all over it, and so they start celebrating and cutting promo and trashing the Undertaker. And Kevin Kelly says that D-Generation X has desecrated the spirit of the casket, which I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, what does that even mean? So, I mean, didn't some other people had desecrated it years ago, beat
King
it up
Abel?
and stuff? Yeah, King Abel did, and Yeah, Goldust had a gold one himself. So anyway, but it's interesting though because like you said, JR says Taker's in the casket, and he says he'll be the new WWF champion at Royal Rumble, which tells you right there you can count both those statements out. If the commentary says it's going to happen, you can count it out.
Dude, they go the week before Royal Rumble 2, they go over the top. Like, guarantee we'll have a new champion. Like, come on.
Right.
Come
yeah,
on.
Don't do that. So, and then, so after this, they're making a mockery of the casket and stuff, and Shawn Michaels gets on the stick, and he says, introduces the two newest members of DX here, which are, we'll skip over that. They're not real people, ladies and gentlemen. China was just, China's there. So anyway, they got lots of childish.
Enhanced.
Yeah, she's enhanced.
She has 2 enhancement talents with her.
All right, line of the night. So they made lots of childish puns, but then Shawn says Taker's going to get his 3rd chance at him, and he'll be denied once again. Which again, that's true. He's beaten him twice. Well, once was a double count out or whatever it was, double DQ, but once he beat him. So and then Shawn goes on to make a claim, I guess, rebutting Paul Bearer from the week before, and he says that 1998 will be the year of Degeneration X, and no one's going to crash their party, which assures that Sergeant Slaughter crashes their party and books a match with him and Owen. So anyway,
and then there's a. I totally forgot about this. Everyone remembers the Vince promo where he, like the Cure for the Common Show thing that we just talked about.
Right.
But there's a clip on this episode where he's backstage. He thanks the fans for tuning in and supporting the WWF, and he promises that 1998 will be the most action-packed and enjoyable year in company history, which is a very prescient line.
Yeah, I just wrote in my notes, like, does he have a crystal ball or something? Like, how did he know? Like, golly, it's crazy, It's just crazy. It's crazy how, we're joking about Paul Bearer and Shawn Michaels saying that, but Vince is saying it, and, like, all 3 of those dudes are right. 1998's the year of Cain, it's the year of the new DX, and it's the year of WWF finally taking over the ratings war, and just, man, it's off to the moon with them, and no looking back here.
And that's, that's why they took over and succeeded, is because Vince McMahon never lost confidence. He always bet on himself and on the company.
Yep.
And that's why they're still around. You can see it in that tiny little clip. You can see why they're still around.
Absolutely.
One reason, one guy you cannot credit to them being around is Chains from the Disciples of Apocalypse, who leads out the Geek Squad to the ring and to confront Cain. All these guys that have been beaten up by Cain over the past few months, and there's a reason why
the Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys
are not there, and Ahmed Johnson, the Cheek, is not there.
This week.
So there is no This Week in the Cheek this week, sadly. But man, there's a reason why Chains, aka the Undertaker, did not get a lot of microphone time. Man, it was brutal.
Obviously, Cain. Week after week, you come out here and you lay him in the middle of the ring. Well, you haven't been burnt. You think the Undertaker burnt you, your brother. Wait till your ass gets burnt by the DOA and the rest of the crew. So step on down the ramp, because we're going to put your damn fire out.
Man, it's like a guy starting out in developmental, like giving a promo. It was just
weak,
so like generic and lame. So, but basically, what he says is that they call Cain out for all the destruction he's caused him over the last 2 months, and the fire comes out of the ring post, and which immediately gets followed by the Undertaker's music, which is pretty cool, and he starts to make his way to the ring because Cain comes out, and the Undertaker comes out after him. So it's kind of neat because I guess we haven't seen Undertaker for a couple weeks here.
Yeah. So he decides to rescue Cain this time. He starts beating everyone up alongside Cain and fighting all these guys. So he's sending a message to his brother that this is what we should do. Don't stick with Paul Bearer. Don't let him corrupt you. Don't make us fight each other. I want to reconnect. I want to be the brothers of destruction. He's saying that without saying it, just with his actions. So he walks away. Undertaker walks away, walks up the ramp, and this moment's awesome.
Yeah, and as he walks away, the crowd boos, which we don't see him give much, many boos there. So
not in a long time.
The crowd's into it. They want him and Cain on the same side. So they they love seeing this. And yeah, he walks up like you said, and he looks into the camera at the top of the ramp, and doesn't say it over the mic, but he says it into the camera. He says, "Cain, I will never fight you. I will burn in hell before I fight you." Just says it right into the camera, and that's that.
It's subtle. It's simple. It's not over the top. It's not hitting you over the head with it. Like you said, he doesn't say it over the microphone. He just says it into the camera. Very cool, very different. It's making you lean into the TV and listen and pay attention. Loved it.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. Again, this story is just great. It's going to get even better.
It does. Yeah. Next week, January 5th, 1998, Raw 241, because Paul Bearer, again, takes it over the top. He comes out. I love this segment. Paul Bearer comes out, and he comes out to Undertaker's old music, like his original first entrance.
Yeah, the old funeral music.
And he looks drunk. He's all disheveled. His tie's messed up. His hair's messed up. He's not wearing a jacket. He just looks terrible. So something has obviously been going on with him.
It's like he had been out all night with Ric Flair. Something. Or the Four Horsemen. Like, he looks awful, man. You're right. He comes out and I just wrote, he doesn't have his usual swagger, about him. Because he's been over the top, over the moon, and yeah, he doesn't have that here. So he comes out and Undertaker. I can't even do one. He does a weird one, but
I curse the ground that you walk on. I despise the very air that you breathe. I hate your guts. It's because of you that I've lost my Cain. Wow.
And the crowd pops right there, which is really interesting. I love, they're invested. They're like, yay, he lost Cain. He doesn't have him anymore. So I love that.
And we're not going to see Cain on this episode of Raw. He's not on there at all. Paul Bearer is pleading with him to come home. He said that he's been looking everywhere, searching everywhere for Cain. This is, before Cain probably didn't have a cell phone at this point. Cell phones were around, but Cain probably didn't have one, so can't get in touch with him. He pleads to Cain, says, "I've taken care of you for all these years. Come home. Please come home to me, Cain." So building up this idea, again, that could The Undertaker have possibly swayed Cain over to his side? Has he left Paul Bearer? Has he gotten Cain to work alongside of him, building up that tension?
Right, which, I mentioned last week about, Thor and Loki, man. That's kind of the game they play throughout all the Avengers movies is, is Loki going to come across to, the good side? And you kind of see them team up, and then he turns his back on Thor a lot. And it's just, it's so parallels this story that we're watching unfold here in 1998. It's great. I love it.
There's another story going on through this whole episode of Raw, and that is Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out and giving a stunner to everybody at the end of every segment, man.
This... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just to say, we talked about, on Bruce Pritchard's podcast, he says that Jim Cornette says, guaranteed way to get somebody over, have them come out of a box, put them in a box, have them jump out of the box, they're over. And you mentioned a few episodes ago, another guaranteed way is have somebody come out on a motorcycle. Those guys are always over. Well, dude, number 3 way to guarantee you get somebody over, have them come out and hit their finisher 20 times in one night. Dude, Stone Cold is off the charts over. Every time he comes out, runs out of the crowd, pops the finisher on somebody. Dude, let Roman Reigns do that on Raw. Just have him come out and spear everybody. He'll be over like that.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. Just like that.
Yeah. It's so good. I loved it, man. Again, it's telling the story of the Rumble, but he's the only one that does it. It's so perfect. You could take a guy on the undercard of Monday Night Raw or SmackDown.
Yes.
And you could have Todd Dillinger or Kurt Hawkins come out, and every single freaking segment, they hit their finisher on every in the ring.
They're over.
Boom. They're over.
100%.
They're over. You got to keep it. I'm telling you, they do that. Perfect 10. Or Mr. Owen 201 or whatever. They could do that. It'd be great. So, yeah, man, it's awesome. So, again, that story's being told throughout, and later on in this episode, there's a nice little video package kind of recapping the Hell in a Cell and the build up to that, and just kind of all of Shawn and Undertaker's interactions over the last few months. And there's a promo in the ring later on with Shawn Michaels, and he says that he's beaten this man time after time, and he'll prove that he's a loser at the Royal Rumble. Which again, I guess you don't. We talk about heel 101. You don't want to poop on your opponent too much, because then when you beat him, they're nobody. But it does work for Shawn's bratty character that he has here. So, and then he calls out the Undertaker so he can smack him around, which I thought was cool. He doesn't say main event style like he did a few months ago, but he does say I want to smack him around, which is cool. And then again, here we go. We got some more druids, and a graffiti casket gets pulled out here again. Yeah. I just want to say, man, these druids are this is Druid Day 101. Like, this is their first day.
Not professional awful. Druids.
No. So,
well, they come out. They're playing off of the whole gimmick from last week. Shawn Michaels is like over the top, like being goofy. Like, oh, come on, guys, come on. I thought he's saying to Triple H in China, you guys couldn't think of anything better. We just did this last week. Oh well, let me go through the motions and open it up. I wonder who could be inside. He just assumes that Triple H is going to be inside and pop out. But while he's dancing around on top of the casket, Triple H and China come out on top of the ramp, like trying to scream and warn Triple H, or trying to warn Shawn Michaels, don't open the casket. We're not in it. It's not us. And Shawn Michaels it's so cheesy, but it's great. He's
yeah.
Like, if you two are up there, then who's in the casket? Oh, it's the Undertaker! The Undertaker! The Undertaker's got Shawn Michaels! He's taking that casket! Oh my gosh! We're inside the casket!
Did we get sucked in? I don't know what happened, but it was a cool ending.
It was, man. It was, and I just wrote it's a neat ending to Raw to finally sell the match between these two. Again, we've talked so much about Cain and Undertaker, and again, it plays a part in this match coming up. But again, the real match here is Shawn and Taker, and they have real beef too, going back to, like you said, back to September or August, really. So I like it, but again, they're beefing. Yeah, that's what Pritchard would say. But I do want to say again, I want to call JR out here again, because as the Druids are coming out with the casket, JR blows it and goes, well, Undertaker's in there. So like, come on. Like, that's 2 weeks in a row you've blown, like, the surprise. So, but again, he talks in real life about, like, not wanting to know how things are going to play out sometimes, So I guess that's what you get, He wants his actual surprise and stuff, or his actual reactions to things. So that's what you're going to get with JR here.
Yeah,
I'm not crapping on him. I love JR.
No, you're right. But
it's just funny.
He has some slips and imperfections on here for sure.
It's like when Heenan and Hulk Hogan comes up. Well, whose side is he on?
Exactly. That's exactly what it was like.
Yeah. Come on.
All right, let's hit the go-home show. January 12th, 1998. Just a little bit more build-up here as DX arrives to the show, and Shawn Michaels promises all throughout the episode that there's going to be this huge announcement about Cain and The Undertaker. So DX finally comes out, and basically they're saying that they want to invite Cain to become the newest member of D-Generation X. That they've inviting him to join them with open arms. That they want to provide a family for him since he doesn't fit in with Paul Bearer or The Undertaker. He wants to join them. So instead of Cain coming out, The Undertaker comes out and confronts DX.
Yeah, so again, he comes out, and Undertaker that is, and he stares Shawn down, and he asks him, he said, leave my family out of this, he said, I'd be worried about the championship if I was you. And he goes to to choke Shawn Michaels, which I think the guy from Botchamania uses this when he does the you talk too much or whatever on that segments. He uses this part where Taker grabs Shawn by the throat. So shout out to Matthew on Botchamania for that. But it's from this segment right here. Undertaker goes and he chokes Shawn, and then he turns around and he starts choking China, which you would not see that today.
No, but it gets a huge pop here because
it does. Yeah.
No one has really had any physicality with China yet. She's been attacking everybody else, but no one's really gone after her, and he gets her up like he's about to choke slam her before Triple H stops him.
Yeah, Hunter stops him with a crutch. He's been leaning on, and for the last few weeks, because he tweaked his knee for real. Like it wasn't a storyline. But yeah, and then Shawn just turns around and hits Sweet Chin Music on him, and starts beating Undertaker with the crutch. And DX is just assaulting them. And at this point, man, the crowd, unprovoked, is just chanting, "We want Cain." And I love that. Like, it's so cool, like how they've turned from this. You know, he's a heel, and now he's a babyface in their eyes. And it's really cool to see that. You know, they're chanting, "We want Cain, we want Cain," for just a brief second. You know, you hear a couple chants of that, because then after that, his lights are out and the music hits. So
yeah, they get what they want. Cain comes out to save the Undertaker this time, and you're right. The crowd is electric here, man. They are losing their minds at seeing these two guys work together, which is crazy because Cain's had one match.
Right.
Cain's been around for 2 months now.
Yeah.
He is over like Rover, man. This whole angle is over big time. Cain chases DX away. The Undertaker and Cain share this glance at each other across the arena, and Cain does the Undertaker's pose, the Shakespeare pose at the top of the ramp, and the Undertaker returns it. The flames go off, and the roof blows off the arena, man. It is insane. Dude. I loved it. It was perfect.
Yeah. And Taker smirks a little bit. He gives a little bit of a smile, and commentary even calls him out. You know, like, "Oh, I think you just saw a smile on his face." And I tell you what, man, my 32-year-old face was smiling watching this. I know it was as a 12-year-old too, but I'm 32 now, and this, man, I was smiling. I was like, "Oh, this is so cool." I'm marking out like a little kid, and it's just awesome storytelling. Which again, that's what we keep harping on so much, is just the storytelling of Undertaker. Whether it's crappy stuff from, you know, someone melting his urn down into a chain necklace, or it's something cool like this. It's all story, man, so far. It's really good stuff. And this storyline has been perfect. Perfect.
Well, I know even back then, I remember desperately wanting to know what happened on this show. I didn't order it at the time, but I did do something very specific here. Throw it back to the kids' corner here when I was, I guess I would have been 11 years old at this point, almost before my 12th birthday. This is the very first time, and I remember it vividly, this is the very first time I ever got on the internet and read the pay-per-view results live as they were happening. I remember we had, I don't know how long we'd had it, I guess for maybe a month or two, we had America Online. And, you know, if you go back and watch these Raws, America Online, they are pushing America Online like they push Twitter now and all the social media now. It's a huge part of the show back then, going back and watching it. So I would get on the WWF America Online boards. I used to post on those message boards on there all the time. And used to look at pictures of Sonny and Sable on there too, but that's another story.
Most downloaded one from 1996.
Oh yeah, a lot of those downloads are from the Dorio house. Anyway, I remember seeing on there they advertise, we're gonna post the Royal Rumble results live as they happen on there, and you can go and see the entrants. Like we'll tell you who's coming to the Royal Rumble each time. And I remember thinking that in the middle of the show that night. Oh yeah, I can get online and see what's happening. I don't have to wait until Raw the next night. So I remember, you know, getting on the dial-up and getting on the AOL message boards. I vividly remember like seeing number 16 into the Royal Rumble is Goldust or whoever it was, Owen Hart, you know, Dude Love. I remember like refreshing it over and over again to see who was going to be in the Royal Rumble, and seeing that Stone Cold won the Royal Rumble and be like, oh yes, that's amazing. And then being on the chat room and watching what happened in this match, you know, watching the text of what happened in this match. And,
right.
You know, we were just talking before we went on the show. It's never gone back. You know, it's like being an online wrestling fan is like crack, dude. There's just so much to read about. That was the gateway to really, you know, I knew wrestling was fake and I knew a lot of stuff, but that was the gateway to like really digging into all like the behind the scenes secrets that I never knew about, and stories and stuff, and reading about wrestling news for the first time and rumors and all that sort of stuff. And that, you know, consumed a lot of my time and still does all these years later.
Yeah. Oh, that's great, man. Like, so I used to leave this away message on my instant messenger from Eddie Vedder, and it said, caffeine's a gateway drug, and I think that you're saying that AOL back then was the gateway drug for you and your wrestling internet fandom. So, and here's just a conspiracy theory for you. So WWF, it just popped into my head as you're talking. WWF is pushing AOL so hard here, right? Well, who does AOL merge with about in August of this year, '98?
It's Time Warner.
Believe it's Time Warner, which everyone in WCW will tell you that was the beginning of the end for the whole entire company.
You're right.
Maybe Vince McMahon was really right. WWF is going to win this year. Just off the top of my head. I don't know.
I think we just uncovered a 20-year-old secret right there, buddy.
I think we did, man.
Way to go.
I think we did. So, but yeah, I mean, I do not have the vivid memory of this particular show, reading the results, but that's so cool that you do, man. You remember that. And, I mean, shortly after this, I remember being on there, and I remember trying to turn on my pay-per-view channel, like Scramble Vision, trying to listen to it. And once we get to, like, June or July of this year, I'll say something specific about that. But anyway, yeah, that's great that you remember that so vividly, because that's really cool. I remember specifically the next day at school talking about how Austin won and being just going nuts about it, how cool that was. So
I think I just remember it just because it was those Royal Rumble match results. Seeing each guy come in and just being so excited to read about it because I wasn't watching it. But yeah, it's funny how that sticks in your head. So
yeah,
and this is speaking of sticking in the head, the poster for this pay-per-view with all the nails and back of Stone Cold's head.
Yeah. He's got the like Hellraiser head, or whatever, all the nails in his head. Yeah. So that's crazy. But
let's talk about this main event, man.
Yeah, speaking of excitement, this is the main event. The Casket match, again, this is January. We're at Royal Rumble, which is January 18th, 1998, from San Jose Arena in San Jose, California. So you think Meltzer was there?
He probably was.
He probably was, honestly.
Along with
I'm not
Mike
joking.
Tyson.
Because we failed to mention in our build-ups here that Mike Tyson's been introduced into the, dipped his toe into the World Wrestling Federation. We're going to get his actual involvement later on. We'll cover that next week on next week's Talking Taker a little bit. But
it's not a huge part of the Undertaker story, but it's obviously a huge milestone for the WWF, and ends up being a pivotal moment in their history. So we'll definitely make mention of it. But yeah, he's not going to have much interaction with the Undertaker here.
Yeah, but this is the main event of the show. So the Rumble, again, historically the Rumble goes on last, but here we have the Rumble right before this. So this is actually the main event. So Shawn Michaels didn't play him when he says he's the main event, the showstopper, the icon, the main event. He's right. So
he is. They show a video package of all the build up here, of course, and it's a great feud. Obviously, getting you excited for it. The production values are off the charts as always. Mike Tyson is in the crowd. They do show him cheering in the crowd, doing the crotch chops at DX. He's having the time of his life, man.
He is, man.
I want to be as excited watching wrestling as Mike Tyson is, dude.
Yeah. Look at Shawn Michaels, man. Look at Shawn Michaels right there, man. That's my man. But man, this video package did make me miss the old casket matches. Like I said, where Undertaker's building his own casket. He's got the blueprints and all that stuff. It made me, pine for those days. So, like I said, it's a weird time. Like, this is not really. This is kind of a forgotten part of his character at this point, and now they're bringing it back. So, but so glad they did, because this match is cool. This is a really good match. So. Shawn is out first. He comes out first as the champ, which again is kind of weird. But again, a lot of times you see that in Undertaker matches, regardless of his championship status. He comes out second a lot of times, especially as the years go on here.
And it gives you, it allows for this great shot where the camera is looking over Shawn Michaels' shoulder at the Undertaker as the Undertaker's standing on the stairs, and he sticks his hands up in the air, and it's like a big bolt of lightning, and Shawn is terrified. It's just again, production value here.
So good, man.
It's incredible. It's excellent. It's at the top of its game. JR and the King are just in their peak on commentary here. They're two-man announce crew. They have so many good lines, and we failed to mention it a couple episodes ago, but R.I.P. to Vince McMahon on commentary and all the McMahonisms that we will not have anymore, sadly. But I'm sure we'll have some great JR and King isms. But I will miss Mr. McMahon's word of the day very
I'll
much.
miss the word of the day calendar. Yeah, R.I.P. to the word of the day calendar.
But we'll probably get some in some promos and stuff.
Sure. Oh yeah, he's gonna be a huge character on screen now. So rather than behind the mic. So anyway, yeah. But yeah, you're right, man. JR and King are great. JR said something about what does he say about John Wayne?
He says Shawn Michaels' record in main events is better than John Wayne's in shootouts. It's the most JR line I've ever heard.
Yeah. If only he told us where Shawn went to college and played football or something, that would have been even more JR of him. So, but
and he also says Triple H being at ringside is about as welcome as a phone call during Monday Night Raw. That's a little plug there, JR.
Man, this match starts off really quick, and Shawn's just kind of dancing around on defense, but he's making lunging and punches, and Taker makes a lunge and he missed, and Shawn's just punching at him and flurrying him, and JR says on commentary, he's got a hit and run. He's got to approach it as a hit and run here, which as he's saying that, it's exactly what Shawn's doing in the ring. He's just hitting and running, bobbing and weaving, and he keeps coming right back. Like anytime Undertaker pushes him off, he comes right back. He's like a little cockroach that won't, go away. And it's really cool to see. Shawn is just starting it out at a fast pace.
He's being a lot more aggressive than he was in the first two matches, which makes sense. He's more confident. He's more cocky. He's escaped with his life the other two times. He's got the championship now. He's got Triple H in China out there, and he's being a lot more aggressive. So they're telling a good story here. And then another thing I just noticed was interesting, and I guess I just haven't noticed it in other casket matches, but it's just interesting to me that there's no referee in the ring, which, that's obviously you don't need one. They're not there to count the pinfall, but I just wonder if it's weird for those guys to be in a match where the referee's not in the ring, because as we know, the referee does a lot more than just count a pinfall. They're there to relay spots to the guys, communicate between the guys. So I just never caught that before. It doesn't jump out to me during the match all that. I didn't notice anything special about it, but it just made me think I wonder if they have to work a little bit differently without a referee in the match. Never thought about that before.
Me neither. That's a good question. I wonder if they did. I never even paid attention to that in the other casket matches we've had. Of course, maybe there was a ref in there. I don't really remember, but
they are outside
on the outside. Yeah. Earl Hebner plays a role or doesn't play a role later on. We'll talk about that.
The casket, of course, is outside the ring and comes into play very, very early.
Yeah, very early. So Shawn avoids a press slam onto the casket. It's open. Taker's going to go, press slam into it. And again, I just wanted to mention the early tease of going in the casket, because a lot of times you see fighting, and then they go to the casket later on. They're going to the casket right from the get-go here, just teasing you, reminding you it's a casket match. But he avoids that press slam, and then Shawn runs the ropes and takes the back body drop, the infamous back body drop, over the top rope and hits his back on the edge of the casket. And this is that spot, that famous spot that allegedly, took 4 years off his career that he had to sit at home with. So it's just weird, because to me, visually looking at it, it didn't look like much,
I thought the exact same thing. I've always thought that.
Yeah.
Dude, and maybe I'm just blind to it. It doesn't look like it feels good when he hits his back on there, but it's one of those things where it doesn't look like the devastating injury that it became. It's crazy to think how much damage it looks like he just grazes it, but injuries are like that sometimes. Sometimes it's that freak stuff, and just hitting it at just the right spot at just the right angle can completely mess you up, and it happens so fast.
It's so fast,
and it's such a little thing, and I don't know what he was supposed to do. I don't know how he was supposed to hit it, or was he supposed to not hit it? I don't know what exactly they were going for there either.
Yeah, I don't know if he was supposed to land on top of it and bounce off, or go all the way over it and overshoot it. But yeah, it's so quick. It looks like he just grazes it. Even the slow mo replay looks just so fast. But again, like you said, some of the worst injuries they're just like that. It's like a paper cut. They hurt like crap, but they're so tiny, So this is, but he doesn't sell it immediately. You start seeing him later on in the match. He does, but he doesn't get up and grab it. So, and this is why a lot of conspiracy theorists would say, this was just Shawn, getting his panties in a wad, and he just goes home, doesn't want to do business, and goes home. But I don't believe that, man. I believe the guy was legit hurt. I really do.
Yeah.
But you could look at this and say, he didn't really hit it, and it was he's just working everyone. So I see that, but I don't believe that for a second. So.
I mean, if anything, maybe it was compounded by some other stuff because, immediately, Taker picks him up over his head and slams him down onto the mat outside. And, Shawn takes a beating for the rest of this match, too. So, maybe that injury started right there and continued to get compounded throughout the match. There's probably some truth to that, too, because Undertaker continues to destroy him.
He does. He introduces back to the ring post. He body slams him on the casket. Big boots Shawn, who falls right into the open casket. And this is so good, though, because he jumped up. Was JR say quicker than a hiccup?
Yeah.
He's up and out of there, man. And it's just, again, a great psychology tease there to me. Like, I don't know, man. It's just their psychology between these two guys is so perfect. Just the fact he got in and got out so quick, just showing, he's not wasting time. He doesn't want to. He wants to win. Doesn't want to lose, man. It's just really good psychology.
It is. I think the psychology in this match is excellent, dude. They're playing off stuff from the previous matches as well, including they do a spot where Shawn Michaels takes out a cameraman on the outside again, and the announcers pick up on it too. They call him out on that, remind us of what happened at Hell in a Cell. And they're doing a lot of casket shots. Casket teases. Shawn Michaels goes into the casket again, and the casket cam returns.
Yeah, thank
casket
God.
Cam shot. And Shawn barely gets out of the casket, too. Undertaker goes to close it.
Oh, yeah.
Barely gets his hand out to stop it. It's like in the first 5 minutes of the match, and the crowd is not buying the false finish yet. They're not super into this yet. And, the Royal Rumble being before this, I think, killed the crowd a little bit. They definitely get back into it later on, but they just went on a huge ride with Stone Cold winning the Royal Rumble in big
Plus
fashion.
Mick Foley coming in 3 times.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to follow the Royal Rumble.
It's hard to follow that anyway. And then, especially when a guy as over as Austin wins it, it's tough. They were in a tough spot here, but it's good. But the way that Shawn gets out of the casket here, when Undertaker opens the lid, he gets powder thrown into his eyes. So, and then we get a little replay where the casket cam actually shows Shawn prepping the powder in his hand. I don't know where he kept in his pants or what happened with it, but anyway, he throws some powder into Undertaker's eyes, which again is completely legal. There's no DQ, nothing here. Doesn't matter, so it's all good.
No DQ is right, and Shawn is putting that into effect. He's uses the stairs on Undertaker. He's doing what he should be doing in a no disqualification match. He's using weapons. He hits a wicked pile driver on to the stairs on the Undertaker.
Oh.
Another callback to Hell in a Cell, but God, it is brutal, and that wakes the crowd up, man. Makes a huge noise, and it's painful looking.
Yeah, it looked awful, man. I don't know how you fake that. It looks terrible. But it's a huge thud too, and a great callback to Hell in a Cell, and right before that was the moonsault that he does off the top rope and starts just wailing away on Undertaker. Which again, we'll see that move in WrestleMania 25 and 26. That'll come into play. That's a great callback in those matches to this match, in my opinion. But we'll get there. We'll get there in a few years. I'm talking Taker.
We will.
Go ahead.
Shawn uses the chair, brings out the steel chair, which started all of this, and uses that. Triple H is using the crutch to beat down on Undertaker. They're doing whatever they can. It's a no disqualification match, and JR points out that DX is interfering, and if Cain were out here with his brother The Undertaker, this would not be happening.
Yeah, he does say that, which is cool. And which again, that's what I'm thinking as I'm watching this match. Especially I've seen the storyline play out. I'm like, well, Cain would have been a nice addition to this. To help him out.
They're building up the storyline. Where is he? I thought they were going to be together. Why is Cain not out here?
And JR has a great comment on commentary as well. He talks about how Shawn's big wins against guys like Diesel and Psycho Sid and even Undertaker. He's like, he's beaten these big guys before. He knows what he's doing, even on his own, which I thought was pretty cool. Because again, even though Shawn's the heel here, they constantly gloat about he's the best in-ring performer of all time, which he is. So,
yeah, it's hard to argue that.
yeah. But again, even as a heel, Vince is probably feeding him out lines to the headset. Make sure you put him over, pal. Put him as my boy, pal. That's me, pal. And then Shawn's going to slow things down here with a sleeper.
Dude,
which,
this was one of my favorite spots of the match, man. The sleeper hold is a lost art form in wrestling
absolutely.
today. He puts the sleeper hold on Undertaker. Undertaker fights out of it, and the crowd is into him fighting out of this hold.
Yeah.
You just don't see that anymore. It's a subtle spot. People don't do it because it's slow and it's boring. But you do it effectively. It gets the crowd into it.
Yep.
More than a suicide dive or some other stuff that you do to slow a match down, whatever. I just really appreciated that moment amongst all this brutality.
Oh yeah, it was good. And they call them rest holds or whatever. But like honestly, I needed a rest hold at this point because like it's been such fast pace, man.
Yes.
And I just wrote in my notes like I'm so impressed with Taker's cardio in this match. Like he is not sucking wind. I crapped on Vader a few episodes back at Canadian Stampede about that, his cardio. But like Taker's cardio is out of control to be keeping up with Shawn in this match because I would be blown up for sure. But like they call this a rest spot, but like I said, as a viewer, I needed a minute to relax and digest all that's happened so far. So it's perfect timing on their part.
It is because it's going to be all action here. Kind of getting into the finish here as Taker fights out, but Shawn Michaels hits sweet chin music pretty decisively, gets it on him, and is able to roll Undertaker into the casket. And just this incredible moment. Again, production values.
Yeah.
Again, the camera is right where it needs to be. Undertaker's in the casket. Shawn Michaels is standing on it, about to close the lid, but he gets too cocky. Literally, gives some crotch chops. And while he's crotch chopping Undertaker before he closes the lid, Undertaker gets the goozle on Shawn, but gets it down low and grabs him in the crotch. It's just classic, man. Really well done spot.
Oh yeah, and it's the perfect wrestling psychology of a heel. Just taking that one extra second to be cocky. He could have just closed the lid and won the match, but instead he got cocky, and so did Undertaker, if you will. So yeah, he grabs him low, and thank God the camera zoomed in on Shawn Michaels' butt here. That's probably a call. Probably another call.
Another Vince call.
Yeah. Zoom in, Kevin. Zoom in. Anyway, then he throws Shawn Michaels back and it hits a humongous back body drop that only like AJ Styles will take nowadays. Like he's the one. He does the huge backdrops like Shawn used to do. Taker gets a clothesline, a big boot. He's mad. He's been crotch chopped at this point. So big. And then he goes for the running diving clothesline, and I think is what he's going for. And Shawn moves, and Taker just rolls and stumbles into the casket. So
slips on a banana peel, goes into the casket. Then Shawn Michaels goes to the top rope and hits a flying elbow into the casket, which is just insane.
I did not remember that spot.
I don't remember that either.
I did not remember that.
And apparently Earl Hebner thinks both guys are out because he just shuts the lid on the two of them right there. Why? Why would you do that?
Well, and if you listen, he looks to like somebody, production or camera, and he goes, "It fell." That's what he says, like out loud. He says, "It fell," because I always listen with my headphones on, and he says, "It fell," which I'm like, I think you accidentally shut it because I watched you shut it. So.
I guess there can't be a draw in a casket match, apparently, because technically they both should have lost right there.
Right, that's true. They both should have. But, we get this classic moment right here that I think it's pretty much been in every casket match we've covered where the bad guy, or no, it was in the Mankind, no, was it in the Goldust one? I don't remember. It's been in one of them, but anyway.
I've seen it a couple times.
Shawn comes out, and Undertaker goes back to that old movie monster, like you said way early on in Talking Taker, and he grabs him and he drags him back in the casket, just like the creature from the Black Lagoon. So it's just classic and great production, great camera shot of this as well too.
They come out from that fighting, popping out of the casket, popping the lid off. They get back in the ring for a second. Taker hits the biggest choke slam you will ever see on Shawn Michaels. Lifts him up to the top of the arena and slams him down. Jim Ross is having a conniption, just going nuts. He's so excited. His hat is exploding off of him. Undertaker hits a diving tombstone off of the apron into the casket. Again, just what the heck, dude? How do you even
I didn't remember that spot either.
No, again, crazy. But unfortunately, that should be the finish right there. But here come the New Age Outlaws and Los Boricuas to attack The Undertaker, the Associates of D-Generation X. Again, reminiscent of Royal Rumble 1994.
Yep.
Beating down The Undertaker and really setting up what we're about to get, another huge pop as the lights go out, the organ plays, and Cain comes out.
And I just wrote the crowd loves some Cain here, man.
Gosh.
He's the third biggest babyface in the company at this point for this 2 minutes here.
Without a doubt.
It's Austin and Undertaker and Cain. They're the top three babyfaces in the company right here at this moment. And Undertaker says it's the unholy alliance of the Brothers of the Night. No, sorry, JR says that. Why did I say that? Yeah, excuse me. I got excited there. JR says it's the unholy alliance of the Brothers of the Night. So now we got a new nickname for the
yep.
Which you and I are as well. We're Brothers of the Night
Brothers
right
of the Night.
It's deep late into the night.
It is, dude. I got chill bumps watching it. Even 20 years later, their pop was huge. Cain, of course, he destroys the Geek Squad yet again, but as he goes to raise his hands to pop the flames out of the corners of the ring, he attacks The Undertaker and turns on his brother. The crowd is confused and then starts booing. They were so excited to see this, but now Cain has turned on him, choke slams The Undertaker, tosses him into the casket, and Shawn Michaels shuts the lid.
Choke slams him into the casket,
Yeah. Shawn Michaels shuts the lid, retains the title, even though I don't think the bell ever rung on this match. Pretty sure it's still happening, still going on.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, Kurt Axel's still in the Royal Rumble too from a few years ago. So, the lid gets shut by Shawn at 20 minutes 30 seconds. So their shortest match they've had, but I think, really good. And again, massive heat for Cain. Massive. He goes from the biggest babyface to the biggest heel in
just like
90 seconds. In 90 seconds, it is incredible to see that. And it's just the crowd is in the palm of the WWF storytellers' hands. At this point, they have got them in the palm of their hand when it comes to Cain and Undertaker. I love it. So good.
It's great. Paul Bearer. It's not over yet either because
Paul
Bearer comes out, locks the casket, and along with Cain, they walk to the top of the aisle with the casket. Cain heads to the back and grabs an axe and a can of gasoline and stands up on top of the casket, starts hacking it with an axe.
Just like Kevin Nash did. Diesel, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just destroyed the casket backstage.
Well, fake Diesel, Cain,
There you can see?
It's all connected.
6 degrees.
It's all connected, people.
It is. That's why we're doing this.
King and JR hit the height of their stupidity here. Cain walks out with a red gas can that literally, since I was 5 years old, I knew what a gas can looks like, a plastic gas can. King says, "Is that gasoline, JR?" JR says, I really don't know what it is. You can't tell? You have no idea what that is?
Right.
So then Cain starts to pour gasoline on the casket, and JR is 50 feet away, 100 feet away from this casket, say, "Oh, it smells heinous." You can smell gasoline from over there? Really, dude? Really?
Right. Yeah.
It's like when he smelled the ether in the ring from WrestleMania 9. You smell it all the way away from there. Sure.
Yeah, he should have passed out in commentary then. So. Yeah. But yeah, JR can smell gasoline from 100 feet away, but he can't see that it's a gasoline container. And I guess Cain is chopping a hole in there so he gets the gasoline directly on the Undertaker because again, because otherwise I was like, what's the point of lighting it? It's wood. It's gonna light on fire. It's the most combustible thing in the world. So, but anyway, so he lights, Paul Bearer pulls a matchbook because again, it's 2018. We're in 2018 now. It's to 1998 here, so he doesn't have a vape or something like that, or
Wow.
he doesn't have like a little, some Zippo quick lighter. He's got a book of matches you get from a restaurant when you're on the way out. I would just grab them from restaurants just because they're cool, like matchbooks. So he grabs a matchbook.
Paul Bear's never seen a restaurant he didn't like either. So
exactly, as we can tell by his lumpiness. So he grabs it, takes one match, lights the one match, and then lights the entire matchbook on fire, hands it to Cain, and Cain delivers the blow. He throws it on the gasoline, and the casket goes up in a blaze.
Oh, man, what a visual, what a finish.
Yeah.
JR is screaming at the top of the lungs.
And my God, the casket's on fire! The casket's on fire! The casket is on fire! The Undertaker is in the casket!
Like, the pay-per-view goes up there, you think the Undertaker is dead. Yet again,
Yep.
What a way to get you to turn into Raw the next night and to see what happened, to build up to their feud. And a really incredible finish and build to what's going to be next, which for us is going to be WrestleMania 14 and the very first battle between The Undertaker and Cain. I will say one other quick note on this is I do remember I'm surprised it's not on the network on the Coliseum home video for this, or I guess I don't know if it was still Coliseum video or what it was. I used to have a copy of it, and I remember there's extra footage on the home video that shows after the show went off the air of the officials coming out and using fire extinguishers to put out the flames on the casket, and it was a huge flame on there. It blows up really well. It's a great special effect. But then they open up the casket, and the Undertaker is gone. He's not in there, which, of course, we know. The Undertaker didn't burn alive. There's some secret door he gets out of. But it's building up to a mystery. Where did the Undertaker go? How did he get out of there? Are we ever going to see him again? So they do show some of that footage exists somewhere. It's not on the network.
Oh, that's cool.
But I do remember it being on the video.
And they mentioned it next down on Raw, I believe, but they don't show it. So that's cool. That was on the video. That's really neat. But yeah, man, freaking spectacle, awesome, great match, best casket match we reviewed by far.
I think so.
by a landslide to me. So good. These guys, I could watch these guys wrestle all day. Yeah, good stuff. Great chemistry. Great match. 2 thumbs up from both of us, so 4 thumbs up. Go watch it, man. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Well worth watching, and a great start to another year here on Talking Taker. We got a full year of matches here that we're going to get through. Well, I guess not a full year because it does miss a few pay-per-views in this build-up. So we're going to jump over to March of 1998, WrestleMania 14, an all-time classic pay-per-view, and a huge match in The Undertaker's career as he faces his brother Cain for the first time, and we get the culmination of all this build, the climax. They're going to have a lot more, but we'll call it the first battle. First battle between Cain and The Undertaker. It's going to be fun. We hope you'll join us next Friday on Talking Taker as we discuss that. Of course, we'll be breaking down all the build-up on our social media at Talking Taker on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Follow us along with that. You can follow me on all those places. I'm at Alex Dorio. You cannot follow Travis. He is Twitterless Travis, but you can get his input. He does post over on the Facebook page. And he does check the Twitter, so you can just shout him out on there. We love hearing from you guys, hearing your input. So please comment, leave us your suggestions, your memories of all this stuff on all those pages. And on YouTube, Podbean. Podbean. YouTube, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you're listening on. Give us a rating. Spread the word, people. We appreciate that. And, of course, you can always spread the word with a Talking Taker, Taker Easy t-shirt available at tpublic.com.
Absolutely. You're sporting yours right now. I don't have mine on right now. But anyway, man, and if you were there in San Jose this night of Royal Rumble 98, Meltzer, if you were there, if you're listening, let us know. Bailey, perhaps Bailey was there. She's from that area, maybe. I believe. She could have been. She would have been like 9 years old or something. Sure. She could have been there. But, Bailey, if you were there, anybody else who was there, our listeners, let us know. If you were there, we want to hear from you. And most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we got 2 words for you. Take her easy.
1998 will be the year of Cain. How much more will The Undertaker take? Or maybe more specifically, how much more can he take? Oh my gosh! Welcome to hell! The Undertaker lying in the corner. He had a chance. He had a chance to defend himself.
Seasoned beatings, dead man.